Hello, welcome back to the video. So, this is part two of the bigger series of dominating your market, right? So, basically, a simple guide to becoming the alpha dental practice. And the reason I'm making this video is because after my best friend Collier had his life completely changed via an orthodontic treatment, right? Braces, basically, I noticed that everything for him just became more positive, right? And the only reason that happened was because the person he went and saw, right, his dentist, he was very, very dominant and he was very assertive. And to be honest with you, his practice was doing very, very well. And I guarantee you, if Colin didn't have the confidence in that dentist, then he definitely wouldn't have gone with the treatment, no matter how bad things were with his teeth. When I tell you they were bad, they were terrible, to be honest. He could not, well, he's not very happy to smile at all, so he kind of just smiled without showing any of his teeth. But the point is, to help more people, I need to show you how to dominate your market because that's really how you're going to change people's lives at the end of the day. So in the agenda, last time we did sizing up the competition, what that looks like, how you do that, and why it's important to do that, right? And then what we're going to be looking at now is where your value comes from. So where your value comes from, it always comes from your irresistible offer. Your value, your unique market strategy, all comes from your offer. If people don't see the value in your offer, then they will never see the value in you. Because the offer is the most important thing when it comes to getting strangers to become trusted and loyal patients. It's your offer that's going to get them to come into the practice, but it's also your offer that's going to differentiate you from all the noise that they see online. Because when you're advertising, right, whether it be online, offline, wherever, okay, even on the radio, people are numb to stupid and silly offers. If you're in the e-commerce space, I'll give you an example, right? You understand this even if you're not in the e-commerce space, obviously, but so many people are used to the free delivery offer. That's a given now. Amazon, free fast delivery. If you don't offer that, a lot of people will turn away. So what people have started doing is bundling things up together and doing a discount on bundles. That way, not only have they, as a business, increased the lifetime value of their customers, but the customer has now been subjected to a new stimulus of offer, and that being the bundle. And I know it sounds harsh, the fact that your only value and perceived value, of course, because you've worked extremely hard to become a dentist, you've worked extremely hard to open your practice, to build your team, etc. But for the market, right, for complete strangers, for people that might need your service, a terrible offer is someone that can't be trusted. It's someone that doesn't have any value. And so, what I'm going to show you to do, and what I'm going to kind of focus on today, is the baseline of the offer. Not how to build it. I already made a video on how to build it, so I'll link it in the description and I'll put it up now on the screen. But it's about what the offer actually is, why it's your value, why it is where your value comes from. So let's open up the document. Irresistible offers. So the point of an irresistible offer, yeah, gotcha. The point of an irresistible offer is to build a bridge between your patient and their desired goals. And that bridge has to be founded on three things. Number one is confidence, number two is understanding, and number three is practicality. Imagine if you were to go shopping. You're starving, it's lunchtime, you haven't had anything to eat since breakfast because you had to rush to work, you might have woken up late. When you walk into the shop, you expect there to be a solution for you. You expect there to be something that will either quench your thirst or that will stop you from being hungry. So you're actively looking for a bridge between your current situation and your desired situation. And oftentimes, you'll go for the one that has always guaranteed that. So instead of going shopping, right? Let's say for a meal deal, okay? Because you know what? I've had a meal deal for a month now. They never really fill me up. I always go back to work. I'm still a bit peckish. And the options they have there, I don't really feel satiated, nor do I feel fulfilled with any of the food I had. So you decide to go to a kebab shop, right? Obviously a bit brave going to the kebab shop um, during your lunch break, but you go to the kebab shop and you have a meal. You have a chicken wrap with loads of salad with your favorite sauce, and afterwards you don't feel hungry anymore. You feel quite satiated, you feel quite happy. From now on, you will never ever go to the meal deal again unless you really have to, and you will always go to that kebab shop because you know it's reliable and you know it's a bridge that takes you from starving and being thirsty and unsatisfied to someone who's full, someone who's had good tasting food, and someone who's excited to go back to work. That's what a bridge is. A bridge is somewhere that takes you from A to B, of course, in the practical sense that we know, the material sense. But with an offer, the bridge is what will take an absolute stranger that has a problem to a loving and caring and loyal patient who's had their problem solved by you. That's the most important thing. It's you that builds the bridge. So, in confidence, confidence is built when someone has no doubt in their mind that you can solve their problems. This may come from the experiences you have, your conviction, or your testimonials. So notice that confidence has to come from you. The only way someone can become confident in you is by you. That might seem obvious, right? But you cannot you cannot sit down with a potential patient and expect them to have already convinced themselves, to expect them to have already made up their mind, to expect them to already have confidence in you and the treatment that you recommend to them straight away. You're the one who has to build that confidence. And if that confidence isn't built, it's not them being some hyper skeptical person. It's simply the fact that you haven't helped them. You haven't either helped them build confidence, understand, or get the practicality. So confidence is the only way anyone will move forward with your business. You and your team have to instill confidence, otherwise nobody will buy from you. Those who do will soon succumb to their doubts and leave you high and dry. I was speaking to one of my clients who's a dentist, and he found that during his consultations, people would walk in, he'd be feeling good, he'd explain to them the whole process. Obviously, he'd do everything before that, but he'd explain to them the whole process, the treatment, and everything. And he'd feel like the patient had a decent amount of confidence in him. But then they leave, they don't pay the deposit to book the next consultation or the next step for the treatment. And he's kind of left there confused as to what he did. And that's the thing that you want to avoid. Because in that scenario, the reality is he hadn't built enough confidence. Because once that person left his office, they had a thought saying, maybe it's too expensive. Maybe I can go to a different dentist and probably find it for cheaper. Do you know what? I'll give myself some time to think. I'm not going to book anything right now. The only reason they had those thoughts is because they didn't have confidence. And your offer, the main priority for your offer is to build confidence that your patient will have their problem solved no matter what. So you want to make sure your patient understands that their problem will be solved no matter what. And for that to happen in most cases, there has to be a guarantee that nothing can go wrong for them. This is risk reversal. You've heard of risk reversal. It's not a surprising thing, but it's often done in the wrong way. I'm going to explain why. Nowadays, people offer free consultations as their primary offer to make sure that the patient feels no risk. Although this is a pretty good offer, to be honest, it's not really that bad. It's quickly become oversaturated and people no longer bat an eye towards free consultation offers. Without going too much into detail, if you show someone too much of one thing, they will become bored of it, or used to it, usually numb to it, especially when it comes to advertising. And bear in mind, the only way to dominate your market is for you to advertise, by the way. If you disagree with that, please click off the video. You don't have to continue watching. But you have to be advertising to the right people with the right offer. Otherwise, you're not going to have any more appointments. You want to look at different ways of reversing the risk for people while making sure they're focused on their goals. Because it's a good risk reversal to offer a free consultation. But you've kind of diminished the value of the consultation itself, and therefore you've diminished the value of the possibility of you solving their problem. For example, the one I prefer doing is offering a free consultation along with a discount for their treatment, which entices people to seek the solution, and they'll see you as a solution provider rather than just some expert advice. You want to get them on a train where they're dedicated to you in this case. And another way to do this, by the way, is offering a paid consultation, but with a deposit that they can put towards their treatment. That also reverses the risk, because if you're willing, you can refund them. You can say, if you're unhappy with how the consultation went, that's absolutely fine. You can get refunded. Otherwise, if you are happy, fantastic. We're going to put it towards your treatment. That is basically a free consultation, is it not? It's just twisted slightly different and explained in a way that puts them more at ease and gives them more confidence in you, but also gives them more confidence in the solution that you're offering. Okay. Understanding means that people have an idea of how you are going to build the bridge. I was in a mastermind last week where the host, Dan Henry, was asking us how fascinating we find ourselves and our stories on a scale of 1 to 10. And in the chat, this man called Nick answered 3 out of 10, and then Dan asked him to explain further, just to get more of an understanding of, why Nick would say that. So he invited him to speak. Nick explained how he doesn't feel fascinating, and that he doesn't have any interesting stories. So Dan proceeded to ask Nick some questions about what he does in his free time, why he started his business, and where he's traveled to in the world. We found out that Nick spent 6 months in Indonesia and had so many stories he could talk about. Nick mentioned that people in Indonesia are a lot more family and community orientated. And that gave him the idea to use that in his marketing for his business. That doing one-on-one sessions doesn't build the same community as doing group sessions. He was a gym trainer, by the way. So what Dan did in this situation is to help Nick to understand, in this case via questions, how to build interesting stories for his marketing using his own experiences. So Nick proceeded to buy Dan's courses in his book, finding he had no doubt in Dan and his strategies. So now that Nick understood how Dan would help him, right? He understood now how the bridge works. Well, of course he's going to buy the book. Of course he's going to buy Dan's courses. He's seen it work for him, right in this case, for free. Why would he not invest? And you have to do the same thing with your offer. If you give people a brief overview of what is going to happen, preferably via a story or a testimonial, they will be more likely to trust you. And the main example for that would be, let's say you're advertising for implants. You use a testimonial story and you build a story and a character around it. Let's just call them Tim. Tim came in and he had no confidence in his smile. Whenever he was hanging around with his grandchildren, chasing them, playing around, they often got scared when he laughed too hard because they saw that he was missing some teeth. So when Nick came in, he had his consultation. We talked about all the issues he was having and what solution he was looking to for fixing the issues. And then we took Tim from A to Z by booking him in different treatments, booking him into different treatments, sorry, booking him into different treatments. Only 5 bookings did we have to make with Tim, and everything was sorted. It took Tim less than a month to go from chasing his grandchildren, having fun, but it always ending badly with them being slightly scared, to him chasing his children in the back garden, smiling and laughing together whenever the opportunity came. Now, people understand from that story what their journey is going to look like, what your bridge looks like. And then last but not least, you have practicality. Practicality is the possibility of them crossing the bridge and how easy it will be. Now, when you're advertising on Facebook or Google or wherever, the last thing you want to say to people is book a call or call us on 07, 02, 01, 225, 01, 273, whatever. People don't want to put a lot of effort when it comes to booking an appointment, taking the next steps and finding solutions. And by the way, I know I'm talking about the offer here, but this is the same thing for after a consultation. Book people in while you're in their chair, while they're in your chair. Don't make them walk down to the receptionist. Have to book stuff in front of people that some people might be embarrassed about. Just book them in then and there. Make it easy for them. The easier it is for them, the more likely they are to take it. Once they trust you and understand what to do and how your offer works, you need to make it as easy as possible for them to access that offer. And when I say you need to, as in it will be the difference between you having an extra 1 or 2 booked appointments a week to you getting 10 booked appointments extra a week. That's how much of a difference it will make. That's why you need to do it. And that's it. There's no call us today, no asking super long-winded questions that don't either create emotions or clarify their problem. Just make it simple. And what I mean by the last point is don't have weird questions that make no sense if you're creating a form. For example, if you ask someone, what sort of pain are you feeling right now? And you give them options, gum, teeth, or anything else, right? Is that question really necessary? I mean, surely you'd go over that in the consultation. A better suited question that will create emotion and clarify their problem is what sort of solutions have you looked for before and why have you not gone forward with it? That one question is worth 3 or 4 questions and it will take half the time for them to answer it. They could say, we'll go with Tim again. I was looking into implants and I didn't go for it because I didn't understand the process. Bam. When you call up Tim and you're booking him for a consultation, you can use those specific worries that he had to make sure he books it in with confidence. So do you understand now why it's necessary for your offer to be a representation of you? Because in the market, it is. In the market, people don't look at you. They don't look at you as a dentist. They don't look at your team. They look at your offer and your practice and what you can give them, what solutions you can offer them, how they're going to get to that solution, how many people have you helped. It's nothing personal, right? The market isn't personal. The market has demands, and whether you meet them or not decides how much money you make. And you need to have a good offer for you to be able to dominate your market. Because guess what? After the first part where we've done market research and you know exactly who you're wanting to target, you'll know exactly what offer to create for them. And then you have a monopoly on people. You literally have a monopoly in your local area to get more patients. Because guess what? If you have an irresistible offer, if you know exactly who you're targeting, those people you're targeting will only go to you because of your offer. They will ignore every other practice, whether they're cheaper, more experienced, whether they have a better team, right? Anything, anything that they have over you will go down the drain because of your offer. And I need you to understand that. Okay. If you enjoyed the video, I know it's a little hard hitting in this series, but it's straightforward and it's to the point, and I need you to dominate your market because the more dominant you are, the more people you can help, and that's why I make these videos. But if you like the video, put me a little thumbs up. It's down below. If you didn't like it, pop a little thumbs down. They're both helpful, to be honest, to know what's going on, what I'm doing right, what I'm doing wrong. And then feel free to subscribe. If you're enjoying the series so far, we've got, let me tell you exactly how many more episodes we'll have. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 9 more episodes or so in regards to properly dominating your practice. And once all of them are out, I don't know if I'm going to keep them on YouTube for free for long. So subscribe, make sure you watch them every week that one of the episodes comes out, and that's it. If you can handle, by the way, more booked appointments, then fantastic, because guess what? I'm going to try and sell you something in the link that I have in the description. It's nothing, it's no retainer, it's no course or anything like that. It's just pay per appointment. I want to guarantee you 100 booked appointments or so in 60 to 90 days. If that's something that you might be interested in, then go ahead, check out in the description. If you're not, no worries at all. There's no stress. I hope this video helps you. God bless you. Have a lovely week, weekend, lovely day, evening, morning, wherever you are, wherever you're doing. And I hope to see you soon.